In 2025, I thought about quitting my own agency more than I ever have. It's not that I came close to actually doing it, but it was a sign that my burnout levels were getting out of hand. I started out the year very excited, but from around March to September, I realized I had lost control of when I did what worked. As an entrepreneur who's only worked for himself since I was 21, the loss of autonomy and the feeling of having lost control hurt me every single day. The fix wasn't to work less, but it was just to do more of the work I had tried to delegate. I needed to work on my terms. So here's my reflections from 2025, basically how I went from wanting to quit in August to being more excited than ever about the prospects of working in the agency space. Here's what burnout actually looked like for me and what I changed. Like I said, our year started out strong. We had a good portfolio, we had a good hiring plan. I was especially excited to start working more on Savvy as an agency after having that been a little bit on the back burner. But 2 months into 2025, the structure broke immediately. A large client came in and they had just let go of their in-house team. It's the kind of case I love. So I was of course ready to take it. Normally it would go to one of the others and maybe I'd help out, but we had basically no capacity for it, which in the agency space is a good thing. So I took it personally. That meant that it was 2.5 days of my week, half my week that went with the client, and it wasn't planned for. I got some help from somebody else, but again, this was 2.5 days of my week. So I did what I always do. I put the client in their box of 2.5 days, and I have another client that also requires 2.5 days. So it was pretty clear I was full. But because I had too much work and I didn't stop anything else we were doing outside of the client work, I never sat down and actually planned anything. Whatever was the latest, most urgent thing to do, I did in the moment. Sales calls became last minute, urgent activities instead of pre-planned and researched beforehand. Agency quarterly planning sessions, like the agendas were shared 2 days in advance instead of it being a week or a month in advance so people could actually prepare for them. Client fees were stagnant instead of being upgraded to match the actual needs that they had that we could make more money off. The weekly meetings with our department heads became reactionary. They became ad hoc conversations where we just spoke about anything that popped up instead of proactive planning focused on the most important projects. And the way it hurt us as a business, as an agency, was that we had no aligned direction as a whole. We did many things. The department heads just presented what they did for the year, and they did a ton of stuff, but the impact was smaller than if we would have been a little bit tighter and aligned on doing things that make the most impact and that had a flywheel effect. The second thing was that basically there was no accountability, so things we had agreed to do weren't always done. A lot of things were done, but if we agreed on 3 priorities for a quarter, then a department lead could decide to do something else, and there was nobody was there. There wasn't a CEO, there wasn't a manager to say, no, we agreed to do this because this person over here needs it, because there wasn't enough time to follow up on these things. And the worst thing in the world was that people in the agency, especially department heads, started getting used to not being able to depend on me to finish tasks at the assigned deadline. And that hurt me every single week. This was when I started feeling a sense of burnout creeping in, and thoughts like the grass might be greener in another industry, or what if we change Savvy to a course business or coaching business instead? What if? And it was all these what ifs that honestly showed me, hey, something is wrong, we have to fix it. I have a super regimented work structure, eating habits, exercise habits that all drive my stress levels down. If it wasn't for especially my eating habits and my exercise habits, I honestly think I would have ended with what I consider a physical reaction to the stress levels and burnout I experienced this year. So this was how I fixed it. One of my biggest personal mantras is no complaining. You own the business. If you don't like something, fix it. So here's how I fixed it. I listed everything I have to do overall. I took a list and then I time blocked it in intervals per day, per week, per month, per quarter. And that way I found out, okay, what do I have to drop? What do I have time to do? What don't I have time to do? The second thing was I actually dropped stuff. Half the things that we had planned to do, we dropped them and we started spending 20% more time on each project. So for example, these YouTube recordings became structured projects with deadlines 4 weeks before the publishing date instead of just flying by the seat of our pants, just creating them the week before they had to go live. The third thing we did, I deprioritized things that are nice to have, but not need to have. Webinars went out. We did a lot less of them. In-person speaking, I dropped 90% of the speaking engagements I had otherwise planned, or I stopped simply just accepting them. I'll still do in-person speaking, but it has to be either local here in San Diego or close to somewhere I want to go, or it has to have some kind of strategic meaning. No longer will I say yes to speaking at a random AI marketing conference where I have a sinus infection. It's just stupid. Today, we basically run everything in Savvy using time blocking with a combination of Notion and Notion Calendar, and it's absolutely amazing, like I showed you before. The second thing that I also realized was client work. Once I regained control of my calendar, I realized that I had a little bit of space. And based on conversations internally in the agency, my partner and I realized that our, what we call on the agency output, like processes, tools, etc., is better when we work on clients as well. I've thought this for years. Just 2 years ago, I forced my partner to get rid of his last client. So him and I had no clients, but only managed people and worked on the agency. Basically, the thought process was we want the agency to be profitable without our portfolio. If not, then we might as well just be a team of freelancers. And the more time my partner and I spent on making the agency, what I call environment, better, the better each person becomes an agency. That's all well and good. But as I started managing clients again in mid 2024, I got a bigger portfolio in 25, and then my partner took on 2 clients in November. Then we realized that our output is actually much better when it comes to ideas, processes, and tools when we work with clients. In the span of 12 months, we came up with a new weekly update structure. We came up with a tool to update portfolio bid strategies so we can make updates for clients that have 5, 10, 20 accounts or countries. Instead of having going to each individual, we created a new non-negotiable attitude to notes and weekly updates and project management. So each employee became better, became less stressed, and we could use Notion AI as well. We revamped Notion, we changed our approach to the client. We did so many things. Technically, we have less time when we work with clients, and that limits our output when it comes to processes, tools, and agency management. But on the other hand, we get much better ideas when we work on clients than when we don't. So even though our input to our agency environment is technically less, then because we can now use AI to do some of the nitty-gritty, non-critical work like processes and other things, then client work gives us better ideas. And then combined with AI, we can actually get just as much done before, just at a higher quality, which was the third thing I really realized this year was simplification works. We have routinely been labeled the smallest agency with the most structure because my previous agency was 150 people. It requires a lot of structure. But over the years, it's been a little bit embarrassing, but we haven't really been able to keep all our processes updated. There were simply too many. The good thing is that we do allow each specialist their own autonomy to figure out how to do things for clients within what we call a guardrail. But it also meant we had a little bit too many different solutions that were running in different clients. And we realized that once we started building tools, then unless we had 100% the same naming convention, unless we had the same structures to certain things like choosing a type of bid strategy and other things, then we couldn't reuse the tools across the board, and it became harder and harder to cover for each other. Now, I don't want things to be identical and Savvy, but I do want us to more or less follow the same best practices, do the same things when it comes to search, we'll do the same things when it comes to the latest learnings we have for shopping, the feed optimization and stuff like that. So after going back and forth on how do we actually update all these 100 processes, my partner said, what if we just delete 90 of them? So that's what we did in December. We're starting the year clean. This way we can use Notion AI custom prompts that we've created to create new frameworks and processes that follow the exact same structure every single time. It's much more easily than try to go back and update 100 processes, which we've basically failed to do for 2 years. Now, instead of us spending a lot of time writing a process for writing a process is just to record a loom, taste the transcript, get feedback from the custom Notion AI process coach we have, then redo the video so we have much better clarity, we simplify some things, and then we get the Notion process coach to write the document. It's super simple. All this with deleting our entire process library felt a little bit like we were scared to do it, but on the other hand, we also figured out that holding on to 100 outdated documents that will never ever update, it's like holding on to the t-shirt in the back of the closet you never wear. So we chose the clean slate, and it's the perfect time of the year to do that. But all of this just turns me into saying I am more excited to run Savvy than I've ever been. We still haven't found a way to outright use AI to replace what we do, but oh my gosh, we have found many things that were possible to do that we're previously only hoped to do. And a lot of these things come around non-critical areas. But we also have non-coders that are building tools and frameworks and just things to help us in our day-to-day that we could never do before. We now get feedback and coaching from AI every day. And that's why I came up with some of these things I'm talking about today, was because I used our AI coach to tell me things. We use AI in non-critical areas like job interview prep. We use, like I said, for process writing, meeting notes, client updates, a lot of things where we can use the AI now that it's been schooled and trained in how we like to do it. Because we're not just a typical agency, we're a premium agency that wants to be an expertly positioned. We don't just say yes and all these things that we've put into the instructions. Now it actually follows them and we can actually use it. I still believe a good agency is worth its weight in gold. But all these aspects that we have here today, I believe that restructuring for my perfect week using time block planning needs to be updated every quarter. But AI's ability to enable non-coders to code and simplifying agency processes just mean I'm more excited about Savvy Revenue as an agency than I've ever been in a long time. If you're interested in hearing more of the things that I've talked about in this video, like the weekly update or some of the coding or script guides and stuff like that, please just write a comment below and I'll create a standalone video for it.
If you're into practical PPC insights that you can actually help you, then subscribe. I share tips, breakdowns, and call out what's working and what's not. No fluff, just the stuff that you can use every single week.